Hi, so today we are going to talk about the mid-year book freakout tag. Why can I never remember the exact wording? Mid-year book freakout tag. I think that's it. We're not going to be freaking out, but we will talk about some books. I'll post all the questions in the description. I will also link the original creators of this tag. Question number 1, how has my reading gone so far this year? My reading so far this year has been interesting because I am reading, but I feel like I'm not reading nearly as much as I have in years past. As of the end of June, I have read 44 books, which is pretty low for me. Usually I read at least 100, like between 100 and 120 is typically the number of books that I read. And this year I'm on track to read like maybe 90. That's okay, I'm not mad about that. I feel like I'm DNFing more, which is good because I'm not wasting my time with books that I don't like, but also I feel like I'm reading, like I'm being more selective with the books that I read. As far as ratings go, I've given out 11 3.5s, 10 4s, 3 4.5s, and 10 5 stars. So I mean, that's pretty good. My average rating so far this year is 3.7. Question number 2, what is the best book you've read so far in 2020? Well, that says 24, but 25. Great question. It's a tie between 4 books right now. The first of which is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Obviously 5 stars, loved it, super emotional, was sobbing one moment and laughing the next, and vice versa. Project Hail Mary, we read that for my science fiction book club, Libernauts book club, back in January, and that was an experience. When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. This is another sci-fi, space related. This one just came out in March of this year. It was my first John Scalzi. It's so humorous. And it's interesting because it's like a collective experience of multiple people surrounding an event that is experienced by everyone on Earth. So I will definitely be reading more John Scalzi. And then the fourth one that is at this point a tie for favorite book of the year so far is another sci-fi. It's a sci-fi horror, The Way Up Is Death by Dan Hanks. There's like this tower that appears in the sky. All at one time, a group of 13 strangers, I believe it is, kind of mysteriously appear at the base of this tower. The only thing that the tower says is up or something to indicate that they need, like, the only way to escape this situation is to climb the tower. So yeah, I have a contemporary and 3 sci-fis for favorite book of the year so far. Question number 3, what is the best book you've reread so far? I have reread 4 books so far this year. One is actually a book that I read twice this year, and that is The Unworthy by Agustina Basterrica. I read it myself back in March and I hated it. And then I reread it in May for Elizabeth of Reading Riley's Midnight Society Book Club. I was her co-host for that month. So I reread it because I was like, okay, first of all, I don't remember everything that took place, and also I hated it. So I did enjoy it more, but I wouldn't say it's a favorite reread. I also reread The Hobbit. It was fine. It was 4 stars. It was fine. I reread Iron Flame, and then I reread The Help by Catherine Stockett. I'm gonna say this one. I have that somewhere. I read this one for the first time back in like 2009 or so. When did this come out? I don't think it was super old when I first read it. Oh, it came out in 2009. So yeah, it was like 2009, 2010, something like that. Loved it. Loved the movie when it came out. And lately I've been like, I really want to reread the book and then watch the movie. So I did that. It's still a favorite. For those of you that are not familiar, this is a historical fiction. It takes place in Mississippi, 1962, Jackson, Mississippi, and it follows Miss Skeeter. She's a young white woman. This is during a time, of course, where many white households had hired help, which were typically African-American women. Skeeter is an aspiring journalist, and she kind of comes up with this idea to interview Black maids to kind of get a firsthand account of their experience working as the help for all these white people. Very touching story, very difficult to read at times. So The Help would be my favorite reread of the year so far. What is the best manga you've read? So I haven't read any. Best sequel you've read so far this year? Okay, I reread Iron Flame and read Onyx Storm. Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man, that's a sequel, I read that one. Sunrise on the Reaping. Technically that's a prequel, but The Shutouts by Gabrielle Korn. Not technically a sequel, like it's not marketed that way. Then at the same time it kind of is a sequel, or maybe at least a parallel, but it's a book that came out after the first one, and it takes place in the same world. There are some same characters, things like that. Ooh, Bookshops and Bone Dust, but again, that is a prequel. If we're including prequels, I'm gonna say Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I have that somewhere too. Conveniently in a little stack under my nightstand of favorite books that I want to keep. So that makes sense, I guess. What is a new release you haven't read yet but want to? Oh, okay, well this is one. Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang. This is a thriller, and I've heard it compared to Yellowface, which I loved, and I've heard that it's kind of funny, or at least like a really good time. I mean, even the blurb on the front says outrageously fun. Interestingly, they're both Aardvark Book Club books. So if that tells you anything about Aardvark. And that is Hot Girls with Balls by Benedict Wynn. It sounded so funny. It's a satire, a courageous social fantasy, a realistic portrait of the hell that is humanity, a deeply felt book about love and competitions. So the main characters are both trans women, and they play, what is this, volleyball? I think it's volleyball. Yes, so okay, let me just read you this blurb. Okay, 6 is 6'7", scheming to rejoin the starting lineup and barely checks her phone. Green is 6'1", so the characters' names are Six and Green, which is kind of fun. Green is 6'1", always building her brand and secretly jealous of her more famous girlfriend. Together, they're going where no Asian American trans woman has gone before. The Men's Pro Indoor Volleyball League. Our hot girls with balls thought playing with the boys would spare them some controversy. Sharp and stylish, Hot Girls with Balls is pitch perfect satire with a generous heart. Literal genius, nail-biter sports fiction meets Kathy Aker. So fun, so adrenalized, as grippy as Pilates socks. It sounds like a hoot, and I'm very excited to get to it, which I hope to do pretty soon. Actually, I should just like, y'all, I need to start vlogging more. I need to just like do a vlog of like anticipated, maybe just Aardvark books, because I also have The Pretender by Joe Harkin. This is a chunky historical, tells the darkly humorous story of Lambert Simnel, who was believed to be the true heir to the throne occupied by Henry VII, raised in obscurity as a peasant boy to protect his safety and briefly crowned at the age of 13 as King Edward VI. Maybe this needs to be a vlog. What's your most anticipated book for the second half of the year? Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. Oh, and Accomplice to the Villain, but like I didn't love the sequel that came out last year. So book 3 I'm a little nervous for. Ooh, and Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. But yes, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. That comes out September 9th-ish. What is the worst book you've read so far in 2025? I don't know, that seems so harsh. Like I have 3 books that I've rated 2 stars, but I have quite a few books that I DNF'd. So technically the DNFs would be worse, but I didn't actually read them to completion. This is harsh, okay? But this is the one I'm going with because this is the one I had highest hopes for, and I was sorely disappointed. And that is The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This book was so boring. I didn't care about any of the characters, and I feel like the premise was so interesting and it could have done something amazing, and it just didn't. I know that's a hot take because I know a lot of people really enjoyed this book, but I didn't. Biggest disappointment of the year so far. Okay, no, I do have a different answer for biggest disappointment. The book itself is downstairs, but I have the dust jacket. Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. I'm saying that this is my biggest disappointment. I still rated this 3.5 stars, so let me say that right away. It wasn't a bad book, okay? And it did hold my attention for the most part, but I had a few issues with it, and I was just so excited for this one because of all the great reviews that I'd seen. I put it on a pedestal. It's my own fault, but with that said, this definitely is like biggest disappointment. Guys, I went into this convinced this was gonna be my favorite book of the year. Biggest surprise of the year so far. This was another book that we read for my book club. We did this one in April. And that is Made for You by Jenna Satterthwaite. It's not like I had low expectations going into it, but I guess I kind of did. It's just based off the description of the book. It's dual timeline. Our main character is a Sith, so she's a synthetic woman. She met her husband on a dating show very similar to The Bachelor. She was like literally made specifically for him. I loved this. It's a thriller. I'm very picky when it comes to thrillers just because I've read so many thrillers. It takes a lot to impress me. This one impressed me. I tabbed it. I didn't tab it as much as I thought I did. It was just a fun time. Like, I loved the main character. It was fast paced, and just the way everything turned out in the end, it was great. It was such a fun time. I'm gonna say this was my biggest surprise. What book has made you cry so far this year? This one made me cry a lot, multiple times. Yep. Oh, I skipped one. Who is your favorite new author? Well, I'm gonna say John Scalzi because of how much I enjoyed When the Moon Hits Your Eye. It's so well written and like the story itself so well crafted, but each chapter focuses on a different character, and you may see repeat characters because they're involved in the life of kind of the main person in a particular chapter. Otherwise, it's a different person every chapter. But the fact that I became so attached in such a small amount of time, I became so attached to like every character. So between that and knowing the synopsis of a lot of his other books, Starter Villain is one. That's the one with like the cat on the front. I'm super geeked to get to that one. What is the other one? It's like the something project. Oh, the Kaiju Preservation Society. So those both sound really good. He's got other books, but those are the two that are kind of like high in my TBR. Most beautiful book you've bought this year. Ironically, I would say Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry because just I love the cover. It has matching edges, but I feel like I can't say that because I've read the book and it was such a disappointment to me. But I also have this one, A Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. I'm assuming this is a romantasy. It's intriguing and I really like the coloring, and it's got really cool, like look at that. I'm bitter about this one, so I'm gonna go with this as my most beautiful book I've purchased this year. What are the books you need to read by the end of the year? I would like to read Throne of Glass. I started the series last year, like early last year, and I only got 2 books in, and then I haven't picked it back up. I do want to get back into those, so reread the first 2, or maybe I'll start with Assassin's Blade. That is a hot take. Like, do you read Assassin's Blade first, or do you read Assassin's Blade third? Initially, I was gonna read it third, but now that I've already read the first 2, because I've heard it both ways. I've heard that you understand the events in book 1 and 2 better if you read Assassin's Blade before everything else, but then I've also heard you get it better when you read it third. But one complaint that I have seen is that people who read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then they get to Assassin's Blade, they're kind of like irritated, like I just want to get back to the main story. I honestly suspect that that is something that I will also experience. Like I know myself, if I'm getting into the groove of things and then I have to jump into a book that's not following the same storyline, like that might be difficult. I think going back into this series, I will read Assassin's Blade first. It's already July, so I'm not confident that I'm gonna have it done by the end of the year. So I guess the books that I absolutely have to read before the end of the year are the books for my book club, really. So we've got Glass Houses by Madeline Ashby. This is an AI house on a deserted tropical island. We have The Martian by Andy Weir. This is the same author as Project Hail Mary. Chain Gang All-Stars by Nanakwame Adjei-Brenyah. I've heard a lot of great things about this one and I've been wanting to read it for a long time now. I think this is his debut novel, but he did have a short story collection called Friday Black, which I did read. I think when it was a new release, but this was a few years ago now. I didn't love all the stories in it, but I did really like his writing style, so I'm excited to get to this one. This one is like, obviously there's a lot of themes on racism in here, racial injustice, the prison system. There's like female gladiators that have to fight each other to the death for their freedom or something along those lines. And then this one, which I'm nervous about, this is our October pick, Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. This one just came out in June, same author as The Measure. So little nervous about this one, but I think it'll be fine because I'm not putting this one on a pedestal. I'm going to go into it very apprehensively. Hopefully that will help with my level of enjoyment. But this one talks about like a controversial treatment for heartache, grief, things like that. So think if, you know, you lose the love of your life, you don't want to wake up every morning. So you go to this clinic and you can sleep through it. Be sure to check out Libronauts Book Club if you are interested in reading any of those. What is your favorite video that you've made this year so far? I have not made a whole lot of videos this year. I have not been super active on YouTube, unfortunately. So I'm gonna skip that question. Which video do you think would flop but did well? All my videos flop. I have not reached my audience. Next question. Any upcoming videos you are excited to make? Yes. So obviously I'm excited for the Throne of Glass vlog, which I'm sure is gonna take quite some time, but I wanna do spoilers. I mean, it's a series that's been around for a while. Other than that, I mean, this vlog that I just decided I was gonna make during this video for the Aardvark book club picks, I'm excited now because I'm so looking forward to all of these. The only other video that I have planned on making, and I've been meaning to do this video for a few months now. The book club, no, what is it called? The book of the year, the book of the month's book of the year finalist vlog. So there were 5 finalists for 2004. 2 of them I've already read, which was The Women by Kristen Hanna and Phantasma. Oh, I completely forgot to mention this book. Oh my goodness, Enchantra. I forget what like new release I'm looking forward to reading. This one. I'm scared because I loved Phantasma so much. Literally perfect, 10 stars, no notes. That's the only reason I haven't read it yet, is because I don't want to be heartbroken. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So The Women by Kristen Hanna, Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. Those are 2 of the 5 finalists. Read both of those were 5 stars. So I was like, you know what? Maybe the other 3 will also be 5 stars. So the other 3 Book of the Year finalists are The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjane Kamali. Not 100% I'm pronouncing her name correctly. So this one takes place in 1950s Tehran. The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. Also not sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly. This one I feel like I would probably enjoy based on the things that I've heard from it. I've heard it's pretty emotional. Both of these I can totally see myself loving. This one, which interestingly was the winner, like the book of the year for 2024, God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I was not interested in reading this one before it became a finalist, and I decided to do this video. It's a mystery. Teenager vanishes from her Adirondack summer camp. 2 worlds collide. This one's also historical. Takes place 1975. I typically don't gravitate towards mysteries. The premise reminds me a little bit of The Last of My Life by Riley Sager. I'm nervous about this one, but it should make for a good reading vlog. And I need to just do this one. Like I said, it's been months since I've been meaning to do it. Was that the last question? Oh, any channel goals by the end of the year? Start posting more. I've really kind of let things go this year. I'm so silly because I keep trying to plan things out to get myself back into like a good filming schedule, editing schedule, so I can actually have content and actually grow an audience. The harder I plan, the least likely it is to happen. I have gone as far as to buy a special planner. I have things scheduled out months in advance with ideas and, you know, putting it on the calendar, making sure that I'm posting at least once a week and not going too long between. It hasn't worked. Like the most success that I've had on this channel was when I was literally flying by the seat of my pants. Like, oh, this sounds like a good video idea. Film it, edit it, get it out. Okay, that was my very long-winded mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below. Answer some of these questions if you want. Please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time.